Pause for a moment and try a specific breathing pattern. Take a deep, rapid breath in through your nose. Before you release it, force a second, shorter, sharp inhale directly on top of the first to fill your lungs to their absolute maximum capacity. Now, release that air slowly and completely through an open mouth. This sequence triggers a specific shift in your internal state. Your heart rate slows down, and the mental fog associated with high-pressure moments begins to lift. That calm state is the biological baseline our ancestors evolved for. Today, however, the sympathetic nervous system, our fight-or-flight engine, remains active for hours at a time, driven by constant digital notifications and relentless occupational demands. This chart maps the economic and psychological toll of that constant activation. In the United States, workplace productivity losses from stress exceed $190 billion annually. High anxiety prevalence is mirrored across the UK and Australia, affecting millions of citizens in every 12-month period. These figures suggest that chronic stress is more than a psychological hurdle. It represents a persistent mismatch between our ancient biological hardware and the high-speed environment of the 21st century. During the 1950s polio epidemic, paralyzed patients were placed inside iron lungs, massive steel chambers that used negative pressure to breathe for them. These machines were engineering marvels, moving air in and out of the chest with mathematical precision. Despite this flawless mechanical ventilation, many patients were slowly suffocating. The air was moving, but their lungs were failing. The mystery was solved by a fundamental rule of mammalian biology. The respiratory system cannot survive on perfectly uniform breaths. Without a periodic, high-volume disruption, the microscopic air sacs deep within the lungs slowly collapse. The human lung requires a physical sigh to remain functional. This indicates that managing stress isn't just about mental focus or mindfulness apps. It requires meeting the basic mechanical requirements of our own hardware. Deep within the ancient architecture of the brainstem lies a cluster of cells called the pre-Boatsinger complex. This region generates the fundamental rhythm of every breath you take. This cluster functions as a cellular switchboard. It manages basic respiration while simultaneously selecting between different breathing patterns, such as gasps, coughs, or sighs, depending on the body's needs. Two specific neuropeptides, neuromedin B and gastrin-releasing peptide, bind to receptor neurons in this region. This biochemical interaction activates a secondary circuit that forces a second stacked breath to occur on top of an active inhalation. This chemical cascade is the hardwired origin of the sigh. It is an evolutionary override designed to re-inflate the lungs and prevent internal collapse. While this system usually runs on autopilot, we can consciously hijack it through a phenomenon called respiratory sinus arrhythmia, or RSA. As this diagram shows, when you inhale, the diaphragm moves down. This expands the chest cavity, giving the heart more room to grow in volume. Because the same amount of blood is now moving through a larger space, the flow slows down. The brainstem detects this and responds by increasing the heart rate. During an exhale, the process reverses. The diaphragm moves up, compressing the heart. Blood now moves more rapidly through a smaller volume. The brain detects this faster flow and sends a signal down the vagus nerve to release acetylcholine. This chemical acts as a brake, slowing the heart's pacemaker cells. The physiological sigh, the double inhale followed by a long exhale, maximizes the time your system spends in this vagally dominated state. This mechanical sequence forces the nervous system to shift from high arousal stress toward a state of physiological calm. In 2023, researchers at Stanford University tested the effectiveness of this mechanism. They compared the physiological sigh against mindfulness meditation and box breathing in a 28-day clinical trial. This chart shows the resulting data. Cyclic sighing led to a significant reduction in state anxiety and a lower resting respiratory rate over the study period. In contrast, mindfulness meditation had a minimal impact on these specific physiological markers. Meditation often fails in moments of acute panic because it relies on top-down cognitive control, asking an already stressed brain to monitor its own thoughts. The physiological sigh is a bottom-up physical intervention. It uses the mechanical and vascular relationship between the heart and lungs to bypass the panicking mind and directly reset the brainstem. This is why high-stakes operators, from Navy SEAL candidates to professional athletes, rely on physical protocols to manage their nervous systems. They prioritize the body state over mental willpower. This research suggests a shift in how we view the mind-body relationship. When we are under pressure in high-stakes environments, the conscious mind always follows the physical state of the body. Resilience comes from understanding these hardwired evolutionary pathways. By using the physiological sigh, we can use the body's own mechanics to reclaim biological balance. Understanding how we breathe is the first step in mastering the human machine. Subscribe and turn on notifications to join our next exploration into the brainstem's role in deep sleep and neurological recovery.